G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Dry Arabia to witness two of the world's best players go one-on-one. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the south of the map in the colour teal, playing as the Juicy Legacy. It is the one, the only Louis MT. Oh, you thought I had you for a second. You thought there was going to be a snake in the house, but fortunately for you, there is... Oh, yeah, I hate to see it. Louis MT making a little bit of a mistake. You know what? We'll let him off because, you know, it's probably been a long day for him. So what was the mistake? His villagers handed into the town center should have gone into the mill. That way you can supervise it, get 10 extra wood. You know, it's a small detail, but it does add up in the end. Let's check in on the north side of the map in the color blue, playing as the English. It is Vortex. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dry Arabia. If you haven't already, make sure you go get yourself something to drink, put your feet up, leave a like on the video, get comfortable because it is absolutely time for us to get into it. I love this matchup. I'm familiar with both of these civilizations. I've mained them both before. If I had to pick one, I would say the English is probably where it's at the moment. I'm kind of curious to see how Vortex plays this because Council Hall is very strong in this matchup. The longbow doesn't really have a counter from the Juicy Legacy side of things, at least in the Feudal Age. Once Castle Age comes around, definitely there is plenty. There's plenty that you can be to do to counsel. Oh my gosh, sorry, having a bit of a word salad right there. Sorry, my brain's a bit fried. I've been playing a game that. When I first saw it, I was so critical in my head of it. I didn't say anything to anybody, but I was just like, oh my god, this is just a mobile game. Doesn't look fun at all. But would you believe it? I've spent 38 hours playing the game, and I've been having so much fun. For anyone wondering what it is, it's called Battle Aces. It's an RTS game. I mean, it's an RTS. I'll use like my little, what are they called, like quotation marks, an RTS game. It is technically, it's a real-time strategy game, but it is just, they did a great job with it. I'll say that much. It is so much fun, so fast-paced, action-packed, and it looks like it will be the Abbey of Kings coming up for Vortex. A little bit of an interesting choice here. So I'm almost tempted to say that you're neglecting to go down a route where you could look to exploit your opponent. Now, it looks like we've got a pretty good meditation gardens on the side here of Louis as well. He's going to hit double stone. Normally, I love to do this when I'm playing in FFAs. The double stone is great because, like, this is 50 stone, right, per minute for the rest of the game. So you're talking, like, if you're in the game for 50 minutes, then you're looking at 2,500 stone. It's huge. But he's also got the berries, and this is the 8 stack of berries, which is really nice. So this will be lovely for him. I think he'll be sitting on a little bit more than 100 resources a minute. So I'm kind of curious to see the direction that Louis goes in this matchup. For me, when I used to play this matchup, I worked out the best way to play it was just go fast castle. That was it. There was no two ways about it. There was no being cheeky, no nothing. I did try and test with like a couple of palace guards in the Feudal Age, get +1 ranged armor, just try and defend with them and just keep the longbows back until you can get to Castle Age. That did okay, but I just found that fast castle was just the way to go. So I'm kind of curious to see what direction it is going to be here for our Juicy Legacy player on the north side of the map. It looks like it might be a second TC coming out for El Sensei. Yeah, I do want to see the timing on this, but we do have the age up coming through soon. It's a pretty decent timing that he's got on this age up as well. I'm a big fan of rushing the landmark because you actually don't really lose that much by just rushing the landmark. But obviously not going to be the case today. But yeah, Battle Aces is really, really fun. If you want to check it out, just go and type it in on Google. I think it's also on Steam. It's in a closed beta at the moment, which means you just can't go on and play it. But you are able to... I think if you go over to Twitch, there's people that are streaming the game, and they will have keys that they can just they give away. Like I was watching Artosis. That's how I got my key. I got it from Artosis. He had 1,000 keys to give away. I was like, that is crazy, 1,000 keys. So I don't know if he's still got them, but plenty of streamers do. But yeah, really cool game. Games go for like 3 to 4 minutes. Really cool rock paper scissors style of play. With teching, expanding, and making units, but yeah, it's super duper fun. Anyway, let's dive on into it, as it does look like we will have that second TC coming up shortly here. Beautiful timing for him as well. 4 minutes 50. Should expect to see it on the gold vein. Needs to be 6 tiles away from the main town center. Where is it? Oh, he's still going on the wood. You can see right here. Look at this. Look at this. Vortex, one of the world's best players. Come on, mate. Get it together. There we go. Now drops it off. Townsend, he puts it down exactly where he had that landmark initially. So now we know the exact reason why he cancelled it. Now, I think the big question is where does he go from here? I suspect it's probably going Castle Age with White Tower. That to me makes the most sense. White Tower at the moment is quite strong. It's got a lot of flexibility, and I guess the issue I've got with going for this kind of strategy with the English is I don't feel like you're really playing into the strength in this matchup. Like, strength of this matchup is definitely longbows, right? Like, even in this situation here, let's say if there's hand cannon slits, like, the longbows can still get in. Like, if we were to look here and take a look at the radius of these buildings, like, longbows can easily get in here. There is so much room for them to work with, deny this gold out. I mean, there's a gold in the back of the base as well, but, you know, one longbow and that problem is solved. But King going to be coming around the corner, though. Well, Sensei's going to be looking for villagers. Anything he can find, obviously, out over towards this top side. There was a few villagers on food, but that is no longer the case. He's instead brought back... Where is his Imperial official? I don't... What? Oh, it's in there. I just don't see it. It must be... Is it right here? Oh, no. Oh, there it is. It can be hard to see them sometimes. So Age-Up about to come through. Probably going to be going into the Shaolin Monastery, most likely. Montlu Academy is okay, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's great once you've got a bit of an economy under your belt. At least in the short term, it makes sense to avoid it, though. Shaolin Monastery does come down, so no real surprise there. Only with the 4 villagers for the moment. Obviously, the Chinese have a faster build speed, so that's probably a little bit closer to 8 villagers on the landmark, which is a pretty standard amount of vills that you would use. He's got a lot of vills still on food here, so he will be moving into the Castle Age with a lot of food underneath his belt. So could potentially think about moving into Lancers. I think is probably going to be the best choice here, but of course, the Shaolin Monastery is going to allow him to begin making Shaolin monks, so looking to pick up these relics. Normally want to start with the one that's in the back of the base, just simply because you've got the king that's around here, but he will actually spot out the king. You can see right now he will see this king back here, so that kind of frees him up and says, you know what, you can go for it. Go for the relics in the middle of the map, but I'm kind of curious to see how many he gets, because realistically, with this Age-Up coming through from him at this timing, 7 minutes 30, roughly, and El Sensei's still got quite a while before he ages up, there's no reason why he can't get 5 relics right now. So it is going to be a stable. We've got the supervisor out. Second Imperial official is on that one. So 2 Imperial officials. Now, one thing to note, though, is he hasn't gone into the Shaolin Monk yet. I don't like this. I feel like just getting 1 Shaolin Monk is absolutely perfect. Just get the ball rolling, right? Like, the sooner you start that first Shaolin Monk, the sooner you're out there picking up relics. But it looks like he will now start to make that Shaolin Monk. So, going to be looking to pick up the relics. We'll check back in with Vortex and see how he's doing as he begins to add in farms and looks to begin transitioning into that Castle Age timing. Still plenty of sheep underneath the TC as well. Up to 15 farms now, which is about where you'd want to be if you're going for a White Tower on 2TC. If you go for a King's Palace, then you can look for about 22, 23 farms. But I suspect it's probably going to be White Tower. He's got a decent spot for it as well. Could just look to throw it down right here at the front. Alternatively, could throw it down on this TC. Probably a little bit wiser to go right here, just because there are now Lancers on the field. And, well, Lancers mean business. Another interesting thing to note is we do have Wheelbarrow coming in for Louis MT. Barracks is going to come down. Interesting decision. So I'm thinking White... is he just going to go White Tower right here? This... I think he's got space. Yeah, he should have space to go for a White Tower there. So that's probably intentional. I just noticed I don't actually have my... I just noticed I don't have my health bars on, so I do apologize in advance to anybody who's like, you know, hopefully we don't see any crazy mangonel shots this game, because if we do, it's just going to be a little bit explode. Would you guys be upset if I went into the settings? Scout's going to go down. Would you be upset if I went into the settings and just, like, turned it on? Would that break the immersion? I feel like it might break the immersion, but I'm the kind of guy who's going to break the immersion. Let's do it. Hold on. Quick. Drongo, go. UI. And always on. No, smart. We want smart. Go. Okay. All right, let's go. Sorry. We're back on. It took me a while to realize, but I think it was when I saw the Lancer was taking damage, but he wasn't showing his health bar. All right, so relic number 1 going to be coming through shortly. I'm expecting a second monk to be coming out as well. I'd like to see that. White Tower. Let's see where he blasts this bad boy down. In fact, he's still got quite a bit of time before he actually clicks up. Still got enough vills on food, or enough sheep underneath. He should be okay. Villager count has begun has been yet to dwindle. One thing to note, he's not taken out a single villager yet, Louis. And he has lost quite a bit when it comes to Lancers. Spearman's going to be coming out. Keep in mind, it's already got that hardened upgrade because the English don't have access to the Spearman in the Dark Age. They've got the Men-at-Arms instead. That when they train the Spearman in the Feudal Age, they don't have to upgrade it to hardened because that's when it's available for them. So it's one of those like small little things that's quite nice because then it means that you can get a little bit of a better trade against Lancers. But we do now start to see where's the White Tower. So I guess now that he's got spears out, he could go for something like at the front, which is a little bit nicer, but I think you probably just want to play it safe, one of these two spots. I guess the third spot's back here. Alternatively, just throw it down in the middle of the map. Not going to happen. He slots it in. Beautiful base building here from Vortex. It is, he is doing very well here. Let's check in, though, on the south side. 2 relics picked up already. Very, very optimistic as we see the monastery towards the front of the base. He says, you know what? I know how many I'm going to get. Now, I'm kind of curious to see how the transition comes through for our Juicy Legacy player. What I'd like to see is a second town center. I feel like moving into a second town center is smart. The only issue is, and this is just a civilization issue, he doesn't have access to the archer. Because my favorite follow-up to this, because I play this build order quite a bit with just the standard Chinese, the only thing I'm doing is substituting a Shaolin monastery for just a standard monastery. But I love to follow this up with archers. The problem is you don't have archers. You've got Zhukanu, but Zhukanu are nowhere near as effective as archers are in this matchup. But King now in the middle of the map. He's got a Wololol. King's not going to take the Wololol, though. Just remember that. He's just going to keep on hitting. He'll be fine. Boom. See you later, mate. Nice try. You could have just been hitting the whole time. Instead, he's going to throw the relic down on the ground and says, I'm just going to go for a bit of a runner. Manages to bring all of the bad boys home. All of the bad boys. Jeez, I'm losing it. I tell you what. As I said, my brain is fried. I've been playing way too much Battle Aces. In my head, I'm just thinking about mortars. I'm thinking about, what else am I thinking about? Destroyers. Oh my god, man. My latest destroyer mortar build is insane. I went like 30-1. I was playing it today. It's a good build. It's a good build. All right. Sorry. Let's right on board here with Vortex for a little bit. So he's going to be sticking with the Knight. So it definitely makes sense to be moving into the Knights. Not only do you have the King, which is going to offer that healing, but you've also got some of the strongest Knights in the game, as long as you've got that attack speed bonus that everybody's got, network of castles, network of citadels, as long as you're underneath those town centers or outposts or keeps or, you know, in this case, the White Tower. That is what's very, very important. But so far through this game, El Sensei's lost 4 vills. He's going to look to start repairing, or rather, to start looking to build that wall towards the north. Let's do a quick relic check, because 4 are in the bank at the moment for our Juicy Legacy player. The 5th one, I don't actually know where it is. It should be up here somewhere, right? There's no way he's taken it. Oh, is he carrying it in and we just don't see it on the UI? Is that what is happening? Yeah. Okay, it's bugged. It must be the Shaolin Monk that's bugged. It's probably been bugged for 8 months, but at the moment, when it comes to like priorities, that's about 457 on the list of bugs to fix. So for the moment, we're just going to assume that it is 4 relics till that relic gets dropped off, and then you'll see 5 relics. So I feel like he's definitely a little bit behind when it comes to the economies, but I think he's still in a good spot. One of the things that always happens when you're playing the Juicy Legacy in this situation is you've just got so much extra gold. Because you're not really spending it, right? Like, you're only making... I mean, Lancers are pretty gold heavy, but you don't really have the food to just keep pumping them out of, like, 2 or 3 stables. So, because of that, you start to stack up gold. So this is where you need to start thinking about upgrades, which is what he's doing, and even look to invest into a market. I think a market is definitely the right call. When you've got 5 relics, it just makes sense to be doing it. So in this situation, he could look to drop down a second TC, and I think that's 100% the right call. When it comes to the late game, if I had to pick a winner out of these two, I would probably say it's the Juicy Legacy, right? Like, the English are pretty impressive in the late game, but the Juicy Legacy have got a lot of tools at their disposal, especially with the 5 relics. The 5 relics is the key to me, because they've got... My favorite composition is the Imperial Guard, which are the unique cavalry units that are even more insane than, like, any cavalry unit in the game, with the exception of, like, maybe the Byzantine cavalry, but that doesn't really count, because, well, they're not that competitive. And then, of course, the Bombards with the AoE upgrade that they get. they get the Cloud of Terror upgrade. And it's very gold heavy, but if you can pull it off, it is indestructible. I don't think you can actually lose with it, as long as you're not moving your army into the opponents without attacking. All right, well, walls have come up on the south side. It looks like he's going to be able to block out any sort of threat down here. Knights and the king pushing down there. So all 5 relics picked up in the hands of our Juicy Legacy player. And it does look like he did go for a second TC. I don't know when he actually went for this, but I assume it was quite a while ago, judging by the fact he's only 12 villages down. Is that what I'm going to judge it off? Yeah, I think so. I think I might have even seen it before and just didn't register in my head. Oh, no way, you're going for a third TC? Okay, this to me is a mistake. Third TC is a mistake. Second TC is fine, right? Because second TC basically says, I'm going to get to the late game, and I'm going to be able to get there. Third TC says, now I'm weak to you. There is a timing right now that Vortex can explode. Oh my god, is Vortex just going imp? Holy mo, I didn't even think about it. Vortex just going to go imp right now. Berkshire Palace going to get thrown in the middle of the map. Oh, this is so dangerous. Oh, this is so dangerous. Surely he knows this is a bad idea. He doesn't actually see the enemy units that are right here as well. He'll spot it out now. Ville's moving out to throw it down. Now, let's talk about why this is dangerous and why Vortex is living on the edge here. The reason why Vortex is living on the edge here is because this is not a normal keep. If he cancels this, he's in trouble because he's canceling his age up. That is why it's so dangerous going for this. Don't get me wrong. It's really good to have this in the middle of the map. If you can pull it off, you're going to be in an incredible spot. But ideally, you need to make sure that you're going to be safe. Now, it looks like he's got pretty decent coverage. If we have a look here, you can see he's got 6 spears, a knight back behind this. Now, if our Juicy Legacy player knew that this is what was happening, I don't think he would allow it. But fortunately, he, for some reason, doesn't know. I think that he did spot out the Vills. I'm not 100% sure if he spotted out the Vills, but just obviously not going to be going after it. So the Berkshire will come up. Jiangnan Tower going to be going down for Louis MT as well. So this is going to be for the farm transition. He wants to transition over to farms, and this is such a weak spot right now that Vortex can exploit, especially with the Imperial Age coming through. Enclosures on the way. Does he look to go to Men-at-Arms? That's probably where I would be going here. Realistically, what is there that can counter you? Like maybe... I don't even think there's anything that can really counter you if you just go full Men-at-Arms here. That's definitely strong. Hand Cannoneer Men-at-Arms, it feels like it just instantly wins this. Because you've been on 2 TCs for so long, that's what you got to appreciate, right? Like, he's had all of this tempo building up. Farm transitions complete. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, you've now got a player with no farms that has to start building farms. And then on top of that, you've also got 3 TCs that are draining villages or draining food from your bank that you're trying to slowly build, but you can't. So at this point right now, the only thing Louis can really do is make Nest of Bees, which is a wise choice. But it is a dangerous position. El Sensei is starting to stack up. El Sensei, where are you planning on going with all of this resources, mate? I've got no idea what's going on. And this guy is Vortex. I'll tell you that right now. He's a good player. I'm just not sure what the whole go is with this. Why don't we just throw some hand cannoneers in queue? Look, we got. Okay, there's the Men-at-Arms. Okay, there we go. He got the memo. 23 Men-at-Arms going to come out. Vanguard Men-at-Arms, by the way, which, for anybody wondering, that's the Dark Age Men-at-Arms. These bad boys are fresh out of the Dark Age. He's got Dark Age units in Imperial, but don't worry. I'm sure he'll upgrade them soon. He does have a racks up here, so he could look for that. The other thing we're going to be looking out for is blacksmiths, and he's going to throw down 2 of them right now. I don't think he's got any other blacksmiths on the field. He actually... yeah, he's throwing down his universities at the same time as his blacksmith. I guess that just goes to show the type of player that Vortex is. I don't want to say that. Vortex is incredibly aggressive. It is rare that a Vortex game goes more than 15 minutes. So this is definitely not the type of player Vortex is. Is this like, did Vortex's cousin get control of the computer or something and now he's playing? I mean, don't get me wrong, he's playing a good game. It's not like Vortex at all. I'm wondering who has got control of his PC. Knight's now going to bust through. Upgrades on the way for those Men-at-Arms. We start to see Iron Undermesh together with armor cladding, aka armor chatting. Meanwhile, towards the middle of the map, infantry continues to build here. I think the big thing for the Juicy Legacy is looking to get Imperial. I think it's really important. I'd like to say maybe going into Grenadiers could be good, But even then, it's like, you need to get a good mass of them going, especially against men-at-arms, and then they can just get picked off by the longbows. So, you know, obviously there's no longbows on the field at the moment, but it would only be 4 or 5 minutes, and you would have 60 elite longbows with incendiary arrows poking you down. So it's a very tough thing to consider. Definitely feels like the gold is somewhat in favor of Vortex as well. Like this gold here, it could just be the way that the bases have been built out, but this gold definitely feels like it's closer to Vortex than it is to Louis. This one, well, this one's got a pretty powerful Berkshire on it, so I don't think there's any point in really contesting that at the moment. So where does he go for gold from here? I mean, you've always got this gold safely in the back of the base. You don't want to try and take that, though. You want to leave that as long as you can. That ideally comes very last. Scout spots out the landmark, sees exactly what he's up against, probably wants to move into bombards from that. Now, it is going to be Temple of the Sun. So Temple of the Sun gives him a couple of options as to how he looks to play this. Springles are coming out, so Temple of the Sun together with bombards is still very viable here. Though, there is the prospect of roller shutter triggers, which is coming through now. Elite Army Tactics also on the way. Look at the timing. El Sensei senses it. This is why they call him El Sensei, right? Because he's sensing it. Double nest of bees. Could be in trouble here. Spring's going to move up. Keep in mind, these are not clock tower nest of bees. These are just normal nest of bees. They don't have that extra health and subsequently get taken out by the bees, by the Springles, rather. Up towards the top, a little bit of Lancer. Needs to be careful with the village. When the village goes down, his population is going to be blocked. But at this stage, I definitely think the smartest investment for him is just to move straight into Grens. Move into mass Grens if possible. You're up against fearsome men-at-arms with elite army tactics. There's going to be a lot of them, right? Like, if there's one thing we know about the English, it's that they love to spam those English men-at-arms. They're so strong and they train so quickly. More Lancers coming through. He's going to try and take this fight. Not a good fight at all. Springald's actually doing a decent job. He could look for a wall of lol here. Needs to get it behind his line safely. Springald's could look to focus down the Warrior Monk. Exactly what they're going to be doing here. But you need to be really careful taking a fight like this, because you're down so much that there is always a risk that if you take this fight and you lose it too badly, you're not going to be able to rebuild. Springald's now up to 5 Springalds. Oh, man, I tell you what, I wish he was making Grens right now. He's got them unlocked. You can see them right here. They're expensive. They're very expensive units, but I tell you what, if you can make them work. Second relic now picked up. He's going to just throw it inside the landmark instead. But the numbers are starting to dwindle here. Keep is in the back of the base. A little bit of an awkward spot. Could have deleted. I think he could have gotten away with deleting these lumber camps a little bit early, maybe thrown it down. But now looking for a bit of a flank. Palace Guards coming through with their elite upgrades. He's going to try and hit onto, get off my screen, trying to hit onto those, onto the Springalds. Town Center also firing them down. Beautiful micro from Vortex, running the gauntlet right now. Look at these poor Palace Guards running the gauntlet. King's still alive in the heat of the battle, getting a couple of heals off in this as well. Palace Guards getting rallied in. That Ville's doing one of the longest hand-ins I've ever seen. Not really. But Springle number's down to 1 now, but look at the men-at-arms number. 35 men-at-arms, 23 longbows. Yeah, see, Grens wouldn't have worked here. And I think this is just one of those things where it's like, it's just a matchup that's so difficult. Like, how do you even... I really don't know how to play it. Without archers, it makes it so difficult to fight into this. I guess you could go into crossbow mass with Nest of Bees on the back line. Crossbows can somewhat hold the front as well. Does have the crossbow numbers building. No elite upgrades for them just yet. Incendiary arrows on the way for El Sensei. As we said would happen, now able to pick off the crossbows on the back. Slowly but steadily. It was very much a case of Louis MT playing the perfect game, but I can't help but feel like adding that third TC, instead of putting the keep down in the front of the base, has cost him this game. Look at the number difference between this population right now. 62 military pop versus 14. It's going to be so hard for him to rebuild this, to get on top of this, especially because he's got the Palace Guards that he's got. They're great. They're great units, but they're not good head-to-head fighting, especially against English men-at-arms. The armor cladding on the English men-at-arms is so damn difficult to deal with, especially for Palace Guards. If he's fully upgraded, you know, if he gets to Ming Dynasty and gets all of his upgrades, then I think he can do it. But I don't think he's going to get there. It's way too much to ask of him. Nest of Bees, still back here. Nice and safely for the moment. Town Center's definitely going to go down. He's got 104 Vills, so it's not a huge loss for him. But my fear is that he's just not going to be able to regain tempo. The farming economy is starting to get idled out. Another keep in a little bit of an awkward spot. You know, this you could have even looked to have deleted farms and throw the keep down. That way you can at least operate the majority of these. At the moment, there's really no siege here for him. Yesterbee's going to move up. He's got the one Springald on the defense. Springald also going to be coming out in his favor, but you can see just how powerful those elite men-at-arms are. More upgrades starting to come through. Yet to pick up +3 on the ranged armor, but does have +3 on the ranged attack coming in right now. Elite longbowman, of course, doing very, very well. What's that even called? Plate cutter point. Yeah, that's it. I got it. Then we had Bloomery already, and now we've got the insulated helm. Nope, decarbonization. Don't worry. I'll get there eventually. Don't worry. I'm over here guessing the names of our upgrades. Meanwhile, Louis MT's absolutely losing it. I think the mass is just too big here. The mass is too big. He's going to try and hold on, though. Look at this. But this is one of the problems, right? With all of this centralized farming, you get a couple of units in the middle of it, and that's it. Where do you get your food from now? There's no getting any food. And now he's on to the last resort of gold, which, by the way, has only got 200 left in it. This is what we should have been saving until the last minute of the game. Well, I mean, it could be the last minute of the game right now. Okay, hold on. Vortex overextending a little bit here. I mean, he's still up a huge military population. But I guess the difference, or the one thing to note, is that ecos are still relatively even. Keep in mind, there are 5 relics on the side. At least there were 5 relics on the side of Louis. Continuing to hold, continuing to fight, trying his best to survive. The keep lives on. I love the fact that Louis is not giving up. I would have given up at this point. I mean, to be fair, I don't think Louis knows that it's 7 against 73 at this stage. Oh, by the way, we got Sacred Site ticking. Oh, I didn't even realize. 6 minutes until Sacred defeat. Sacred Sites aren't really that defended, but to be honest, I don't even think you're really flexing a Sacred victory at the moment. I think you're just going to do it the good old-fashioned way. Lemark's under pressure. Treb's working down these keeps. A couple of Vills here to help out on the repair. Shaolin Monastery will be going down. At the moment, he does have Palace Guards coming through. I just don't see how he gets back into it, though. That's the thing. I don't see any way that he gets back into it. And to me, there was a couple of factors in this. I think the biggest one was that the timing from Vortex with his push in Imperial was absolutely superb. Right? Like, he had that beautiful farm transition that had well and truly been set up. He'd been on 2 TCs for since 5 minutes. And that's going to be it. That's going to be the game, ladies and gentlemen. Vortex with an absolutely... I mean, that was clinical, realistically. A clinical push against the Juicy Legacy. Very difficult as the Juicy Legacy to play that matchup. I'm going to leave a link in the description of where you can go watch Vortex live. Go catch him, go say good day, and of course, we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.